Hi Pirmin, nice to see you. You alright?
How we doing? You alright, James?
Yeah, not bad, cheers, thanks.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, first question. Can you summarise yourself in 30 seconds?
Oh, good
From
one.
birth?
From birth?
Yes.
Oh, right, okay, interesting one. So, my name is Pirmin. I'm originally from Germany. I grew up on Tenerife. I went to school there, did my high school there, and then I came to Manchester for university. And now I work as a PT and online coach and also as a recruitment consultant.
Okay,
How
well,
was that?
that was more like 10 seconds, that was. That's good. Okay.
Nice.
So what was it like transitioning between, like, obviously abroad, coming to UK?
So, it's a weird one because obviously I did it for uni. So,
Yeah.
for me, it was a little bit of a natural chain of events, right? Because
Yeah.
I went to school in an English system, so I went to an English school in Tenerife.
Yeah.
So I did all my A levels and GCSEs over there
Ah.
in the English system. So as a natural sort of transition from that,
Yeah.
it just made sense to go to a university in England.
Okay.
So it was quite natural, to be honest, because yeah, as it happened, I graduated from high school or from A levels and
Yeah.
sixth form, and then yeah, it was just always on the cards. Do you know what I mean? So for me, it was quite easy to do that transition, and
Yeah.
also having come from Germany to Tenerife in the first place. Granted, I was very little at the time, but
Yeah.
it was kind of yeah.
How
For me,
old were you? How old were you?
when I came to Tenerife,
Yeah.
so my mum
When you came to England, yeah.
oh, to England.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just about turning 19, so that
Okay.
was just before my 19th birthday. So in September,
Yeah.
and yeah, so it was quite natural, and the transition was quite easy because yeah, going from a school system to a university system is just like obviously it was exciting and everything, but it
Yeah.
wasn't so much as like this is the first time I did it, and oh my god,
Yeah.
I kind of knew what it was like trying, having to make new friends all over again.
Right.
So yeah, that was quite easy going, to be honest. I enjoyed it.
Nice, that's good.
Yeah.
And where did fitness come into your life?
So with fitness, it was always somehow part of my life. So I started off doing martial arts when I was very little, about 12 years old. So we did this like martial art, which was like it was called I forget what it was called Kwan Kido.
Oh wow.
It was like a Vietnamese martial art,
Yeah.
and that was so where we did it was part of a gym.
Yeah.
So I always had, when we came into classes and stuff, I always saw like people in the gym, and I was like, oh, what's this? What's going on here?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So having done that for a couple of years, then, as I got older, at the time when I was growing up, it was always, living in Tenerife, it's like tropical island,
Yeah.
you're always in the sun, you're wearing very few clothes, right?
Yeah.
So it was, if you're between the ages of maybe 17 to 18, 20, allowed to go to the gym, and that was it. Do you know what I mean? So it was
Yeah.
always just that. I was like, okay, I might give this a try.
Oh.
And then yeah, so started going to the gym. Just obviously had no idea what I was doing. I was just trying out a couple of machines, but then very quickly I was like, yeah, this is actually decent. I like I like where this is going,
Yeah.
and actually enjoy working out. And yeah, the gym I was going to was like at the time it was quite a sort of bodybuilding heavy gym, so people walking around there with quite decent shape, and I was like, that's that's where I want to be at one point. So yeah, it was always just from then I just kept going at it, really. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so obviously it started off really sort of bit by bit, just going to the gym here and there.
Yeah.
But then when I came over to the UK, it was more like, right, I want to start hitting it properly. But it was always more of a hobby.
Yeah.
So I always had that hobby, alongside it was never like my intention to go into PTing or coaching or anything like that. But having done it now for a couple of years, and it just became a bigger part of my life.
Oh.
So at that point, especially over COVID as well, where I think everybody had that time where they have those thoughts, okay, especially over COVID, when you're at home,
Yeah.
they're like, okay, what's the next step here? What can I do, or what is there anything else? Is there more to life? So yeah, for me it was always like, I've been doing this for over 10 years now.
Yeah.
I'm good at it. I know my stuff.
Yeah.
So why not teach other people how to do the same thing?
Right.
Yeah. And yeah, it wasn't really my intention to get into it, but now I'm at a point in my life where I was like, okay, I need to go into that next step and do something that I actually enjoy doing, right?
Yeah.
And do something that I I think I'm made for this, because it comes so easy. So even if it's a job, it doesn't feel like one.
That's
Do you know
good.
what I mean?
So it doesn't feel like you're working when you do PT sessions?
Not really, because I'm in an environment that I like. I like doing what I do, and I've got this thing where if I can teach somebody something and you can see it work out for them, then that's like, obviously it's massively rewarding when people see, oh right, I never knew this before, or this is something completely new for me, and it's actually working.
Yeah.
Right. That's it's massively rewarding for that. So
that's good.
Yeah.
Nice. And obviously we went to the same uni.
Yeah.
We did aircraft engineering. What got you into that?
Into engineering.
Yeah.
So I come from the my dad. Well, basically, cut it short, my dad was an engineer. My brother was an engineer. So my dad actually works for Airbus.
Okay.
In accident investigation.
Yeah.
And my brother's 2 years older than me, and then he also went to university, did engineering there. And from quite a young age, me and my brother, we were always into aviation. I think that mainly came from our dad's side, because we were always involved in the aviation, aerospace scene or background. There was always something about it.
Yeah.
And when we were little, we always visited like summer camps where you can fly glider planes, or you visited different like Air Force bases in Germany. It was like a youth program at the time.
Yeah.
Where they basically had you and a couple of other young people just visit an aerospace base in Germany or not an aerospace base, a military air base.
Oh yeah.
With a bunch of other people.
Yeah.
And then you just spend a week there, just look at stuff. They show you around and see how it goes. So from then it was like, okay, this is kind of where I want to go in terms of like university and career wise. And so the more I always found it was, so engineering, the mathematics, physics, all of this side of this, I think the right brain side of thinking was never really my, or is it left? Right? Can't remember. Whichever one the logical and the numerical side of the brain is.
Yeah.
I always felt like that was sort of going against my sort of nature. I always found it more difficult than anybody else, I thought, especially in my course, to grasp certain things or to understand, just because your brain works in a certain way.
True.
And you kind of feel you're going into more the creative side or the more analytical, numerical side of things.
So would you say you're more creative?
I think so, yeah. So just in terms of like, how I learn and the kind of things I enjoy, looking at numbers and graphs and things like that, it makes sense to me, but it's, it's not something that I enjoy or that comes very sort of natural to me. Yeah.
Right.
So I think it came sort of around, second, third year of uni, or going towards the end, where I was like, okay, I'm still interested in the topic.
Yeah.
But sort of, you just sort of fall out of love with it a little bit. So I think once I then graduated, that's what probably made me not pursue that field in as intensely as I would have probably if this was like my true passion. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I always found that whatever I did in life, whether it was going into engineering and then later on in recruitment or whatever, fitness was always it's
always been there.
Yeah, it's always been there throughout. So yeah, it's just a natural sort of transition. I just thought, hey, look, why not try to make that something that I do for a living rather than just a hobby,
Makes sense, if you can do it. So obviously you did your masters at uni, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
What made you want to do that if you sort of fell out of love on your third year?
I guess that's a little bit of my sort of instinct to not call it quits.
Right.
I thought, because I was like, okay, I made it through the degree, right? I got a decent note. I got a 2-1 in it, right?
Nice, yeah.
And end year project was pretty good. And like I said, I still enjoyed the topic of it, so aerospace, anything related to that sort of field. And I was like, I sort of gave it one more push, so to say.
Right.
I was like, should I just go for it, right? And just say, right, I'm just gonna see if this is truly, if I can make it work for myself, and then maybe specialize in one area. But then I kind of realized that this specialization, I found it hard to actually find an area I was like, okay, this is really what I wanted to do.
Right.
So so I think that's where that's where it came from. So it was a mixture between me not wanting to just say, I tell you what, I'll give this up. Yeah. And partly as well, just going, okay, I just want to see if if this field that I'm interested in is actually the right one for me. So it's a little bit of a
Right.
mix of both.
Okay, and obviously you went into recruitment, didn't you,
Did, yeah.
after your masters? What made you choose that?
So a lot of people will probably tell you, if you ask, by the way, if you ask anybody how they came into recruitment, everybody says, "Oh, I kind of fell into it."
Oh, okay.
And that's true,
Yeah.
because nobody chooses to be a recruiter. Everybody gets recruited for a recruiter, and then they go, "Oh, that sounds quite interesting, right? Loads of money, yeah, you get this and that." Okay,
Yeah.
cool. But for me, so same thing for me. I got recruited by somebody in the middle of my job search.
Yeah.
For recruitment, I was like, I have no idea what this is. I want to see what's going on here. So I went through the interview process with a company here in Manchester. Top company, by the way. I've been working with them for 5 years, and I literally, those 5 years where I've learned so much,
Yeah.
and it's just been a progression since then. So basically the reason why I chose to actually go through with it, because even throughout the interview process and the hiring process, I was like, again, is this the right way for me? But what I found is, so I've got this, so in my head I was like evaluating the things I'm good at, the things I'm not good at. And one thing, or a couple of things I had no idea about or that I wanted to learn were how does business work? How does sales work? How does that come together? And how do organizations actually work in that way?
Yeah.
What's the sales aspect of life? Because everything, as I became to know throughout that career path, is everything in life is sales. Right?
Yeah.
Even having a conversation is pretty much you're basically trying to either bring a point across or convince the other person of a certain point of view.
Persuasion,
yeah. So it's all about that. So one part of me was like, I really want to learn this bit of life. So I was like, I'll give this a go.
Right. Okay.
So everything in my life was always like, I'll give it a go, see what's going on there, and then just going that way, and then so I started with them, and that really gave me the sort of that insight of sales, basically out of conversation really, and actually understanding of how contracts work and how like the legal system works and stuff like that. So there's actually a lot more to recruitment than just being on the phone and trying to close a deal. It's everything. You're basically running your own little business within a larger organization.
Wow. And
I think that then, so this combined with my sort of passion for fitness gave me then the confidence. So I knew, okay, I've got the fitness aspect down, which is the thing I really enjoy. So that's sort of my pathway. And then now I learned how to, do sales and close deals
and
marketing as well. Yeah. So that's a big aspect. So a big part of being a personal trainer and online coach is basically doing that yourself.
Yeah.
So it just sort of worked out where I go, year after year, I was like, okay, a clearer picture started forming.
Yeah.
So like I can actually combine these two things, these two skills, and make a business out of it, make a career out of it.
And how many years have you been in recruitment so far?
So I started in 2017, so I think that makes it now coming up to 6 years almost.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you regret any of it, or?
I don't like regret as a sort of thing to think about, because if you think about something that you regret, it's always like, you think about it for years and you feel like you've made the wrong choice. And I don't think that, like, whatever choice I made got me to where I am now, and now I feel like I'm on the right path.
Yeah.
So I think everything that's happened in my past had to happen for me to be here now. So
True.
And so to put it short, I don't regret it, because it gave me that confidence of knowing how to actually structure and run a little business on my own. I knew the different aspects of what's involved in that, and I think that's a lot of people go into, they decide they want to be self-employed and they open a business, but the one thing they're lacking is that business acumen, the knowledge of what does it actually take. It's not just about, if you want to run a business, about the product or what you're selling. It's how to sell it, how to market it, how to then deal with difficult customers and stuff like that.
Right.
And all of that is that's a big part of recruitment. So no, I don't regret it. It got me to where I am now, and into the thought process of making that decision as well. So yeah.
That's often the case, isn't it? You might take jobs, but then you can learn things from them that help you later on, but you don't know at that time if it's going to help you.
Yeah, 100%.
That's mad. Okay, cool. And in terms of your current business, your personal training business, how did that come about? When did you decide I'm going to make it?
So this was at the end of last year, round about my birthday as well. I decided, okay, it's probably time to take this a bit more serious. So
Yeah.
my intention was, okay, because I'm just going to start one step at a time. So I decided to get my qualification as a personal trainer. So I was actually recommended by by a friend who went to my gym. So she did her personal training at a company called Vector Training, based in Salford. And she was like, yeah, I just got my qualification there. It was basically because normal academies or whatever do it all online.
Yeah.
Whereas the difference with Vector was it's very hands-on. Yeah, so you basically go through 3 months of weekend sessions. So it's basically 9 to 5 on a weekend, Saturday and Sunday.
Oh yeah.
And it's all hands-on. So you basically spend time on the gym floor with personal trainers, with coaches, and they teach you everything, not the theory, but also the practical side. So yeah, I really had a really good time and a really good experience with them. So I got my qualification as a personal trainer. And from then I was like, okay, I'm just going to take it easy. I'm going to start part-time, see if I can get some clients on the side, maybe get into a little bit of online coaching, but still keep my job. So my intention was to actually see if I can make it to a point where I get my earnings to round about the same, or to a point where, okay, I can say I can comfortably switch over now.
Yeah.
But, I quickly found out that it's very hard, especially working in recruitment. That's, you're already working long hours.
Yeah.
It takes a big chunk of your life, working in recruitment. And then also having to spend time on your own business and also get the clients on that side and actually have time to then coach these clients.
Yeah.
It's, for me at least, it was near to impossible. I couldn't find the time or the balance to do that. So I had started off with just a few clients, one at a time, and then they dropped off because I couldn't, just couldn't hold it, or, I just didn't have the time to fully commit to it. So I did that for a year, and I was always on the fence. I was always like, should I do it? Should I not? Is it going the right way? But now came the time where I was like, do you know what? I've made, you just have to make a decision at one point. Go all in and just take a little bit of a risk, or just always be up and down and on the fence with things, and it may not really kick it off at some point. So that's when I decided. So I think I made the decision again around about my birthday last year.
Yeah.
Where I just said, tell you what, that's it. I'm just going to take the jump. So yeah.
Wow.
And then I gave myself like a 3 month window. So this was in November. So I took November, December, and then January.
Yeah.
And then January, I obviously spoke to my employer, and I was like, this is what I want to do. They were super supportive.
That's good.
And yeah, so this is actually my last month where I'm going to be in recruitment, and then after that, I'm going full time.
What sort of things were you thinking to yourself when you were like the concerns about going full time as a PT?
Probably the same that everyone has when they switch careers, or when they, especially, well, not careers, but when they decide to go self-employed.
Yeah.
Because that's essentially what I'm doing. Like, as a PT, you're basically self-employed.
Yeah.
Obviously, where's the money going to come from? What's going to happen? And you paint all these scenarios in your head of basically worst case scenarios.
Yeah.
But you just have to you just have to take a risk. And at the end of the day, if that doesn't work out, I think that was the main thing. I thought to myself, if the PT thing doesn't work out, I can always, I'm a smart guy. I can always make money somewhere else. I can always get another job in recruitment or somewhere else if I wanted to. I can use my skill set in some other industry sector or whatever, So just being realistic with myself, I thought, why be scared of that if it's all going to be all right, So how bad can it be? If it doesn't work out, at least I've tried it. But so I'd rather I try and it doesn't work out, and then I know for sure, okay, nail in the coffin, close that chapter.
Yeah.
Rather than 10 years down the line go, I wish I tried that. I wish I would have gone through with it. What would have happened if, Because I think that's the worst part about, especially when you get older, you always think about the things, like you said before, the regret part, the things you haven't done. Yeah. You always regret the things you haven't done.
Yeah.
Right? And I didn't want that to be the case. I didn't want to be like get into my 40s and 50s and thinking, what could have happened if I would have tried that, but I never did. So I'm still stuck in whatever job I might be doing at the time. That might not be the one thing I want to do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like success has been labelled as something where you do something and you have to reach a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
However, I reckon if we reframed it as success is when you start something, so many more people would just start, because you can't fail then, can you really?
Yeah, I mean, depends. I mean, if you want to see it as failure, I mean, you can start something and then not continue with it because you make mistakes along the way, or it doesn't work. It doesn't, it's not the thing that you truly.
Yeah.
If you decide to start something that you think, okay, this is something I want to do.
Yeah.
And it then fails. It's only because in my opinion, it's only because it might not have been the right thing for you. Because if you really truly want to make it work, then you're gonna make it work. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you just have to try hard enough. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, yeah. Makes sense. So enjoyment is a big part of that, isn't it?
I think it's probably the main part. Like,
yeah.
Like for me, I get a lot of enjoyment, a lot of fulfillment out of actually enjoying what I do.
Yeah.
And I think fulfillment is the word here, right? Because a lot of people, regardless of their motivation, right? Some people are money motivated, some people are career driven. There's different motivators, but
yeah.
For me, it all boils down to like, is it actually fulfilling you, whatever you do, right?
What would that feel like?
For me?
What does fulfillment feel like for you, as far as you know now?
Like, for example, what I said before, when you're teaching somebody something and
yeah.
and it works for them and it changes their lives in a way, right?
Yeah. That
some people, well, so it takes a long time for somebody to actually go, okay, I will get a PT.
Yeah.
And they're always on the fence about it, but then when they actually start working with a coach and it actually changes their lives because they're now fitter, they're healthier, they feel better inside and out, they perform better.
Yeah.
It can change so many things,
Yeah.
Even not just physically but also mentally, right? And seeing that journey for someone, that's like massively rewarding.
Yeah.
In a way, I think we all have a little bit of a I don't know what the name is, when you basically think, oh, why should I be the person who can achieve that? Yeah, you always have that something in your head that might pull you back. I think it's called imposter syndrome. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
When you always think, oh, I don't really, who the hell am I to teach people this thing that I barely know I had very little experience or professional experience in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if you then see, okay, it's actually working and it's it does change people's lives in a way.
Yeah.
Small or big, whichever, that's the rewarding part of it. And also, what I said before, just actually being in a space that you like to be. Like, for example, with me, that's anything related to training. Like, it might sound weird, but if I go into a new gym, I'm like, oh, I want to try this machine, or I want to try this equipment. If you go into like a functional training space, there's all these different things that you might not have come across. Like different different training equipment, like different types of training equipment. You're like, oh, I want to give that a try.
Yeah.
And you do that, and then it's just being in that space of being in the gym space. That's something I enjoy.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So when you started out, was it because you were like, oh, I'm curious to try this thing, like different exercises, or did you have a aim to look like that certain thing? Do you have a goal, or was it a case of you were curious about the equipment, or a mix?
So when I started my gym or fitness journey, you mean?
Yeah.
So at the very start, it was more of a thing that if you were at that age, it's just a typical thing. Lads go to the gym, it was just that. So, and I think everybody, if you ask anybody why did you start the gym, they're always like, oh, I want to get girls, I want to look better. And yeah, that was part of it. Of course, you think if you train, you look better. You're like, oh, you've got more success with the girls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the more I started to train, the more, like for example, when I first started out, I think I was 17 when I properly got into the gym, and this was in sixth form. So me and my buddy Richard, we started to get into the gym very quickly. Like, he always brought in like Men's Health magazine, and we started reading that stuff, and we were like, all right, let's try this, let's try that, and we were like going for it. Like every day we were in the gym, and it quickly became something that was like, at least for me, the fitness aspect rather than the looking good aspect of it was,
Okay.
you know, it took a little bit of a, first it was just, oh yeah, it looks, let's just get massive, let's just
Yeah.
get muscular. But then after a while it was like, okay, if you start to train to you know, to get bigger, to look better, you also perform better and you also feel better. Yeah, so that aspect of it quickly sort of, it made a transition from one to the other.
Yeah.
And I always try to sort of balance the two. Obviously there's, like for me, there's a sort of aesthetic aspect to fitness, right? You obviously want to look good, but the performance aspect is also like really important for me now.
Yeah.
For example, I do a lot of strength training now,
Right.
which is because I just like hitting numbers on the deadlift or the squat or the bench press, and that feels good because you're like, you're lifting a lot of weight, and with that, obviously, depending how you train as well, your physique improves. So it's for me, it's always a mixture between I like to look good, but I also like to feel good and perform good. Yeah, so it's always a little bit of a balance between those two things.
Next thing I want to ask is the power of consistency, marginal gains. So what can you tell me cause it can be applied to any situation really, kind of not just fitness, but what have you learned about it while being a PT or like in your fitness career?
So consistency, for me, I always think about it this way. If you do something for a while, yeah, let's say you do something for a month or something, right? You get really good at it, and then you stop doing it for a while.
Yeah.
That skill that you just learned, or that thing you've just done, or that, like I said, that skill, after a while it just goes away, right? So you unlearn it if you don't keep at it.
Yeah.
Right? So in a fitness aspect, a lot of people think about it, especially when they start thinking, oh right, I want to go to the gym, but it seems like a massive hurdle for them, right? It seems like this big unachievable goal.
Yeah.
Because they've got all these things, and they're like, right, I'm starting from zero, and I've got all these things to go through. But so that's why I also think these, there's a lot of challenges in the fitness space. 30-day challenge this, 30-day challenge that. I think a lot of that is quite frankly bullshit, because you're basically teaching somebody to do something for a while, but if they don't keep at it, then they're gonna unlearn that skill. Yeah.
Right.
So 30-day challenges can be good in terms of teaching somebody a habit, but if they don't stick to that habit, it's not going to go anywhere. And it's easier to do a little bit a lot rather than doing a lot just once and then going nowhere. Do you know what I mean?
When you define a little bit a lot, what counts? What's the minimum that someone would have to do something in terms of fitness to see improvements? I know it's a very vague question, but what would you say in terms of like numbers?
I mean, if you've never been to the gym, right? If you've never ever touched a foot in the gym or lifted a weight or done anything like that, you could basically any number, right?
Yeah.
Is a good number.
So once a week for half an hour.
Once a week for half. Well, yes, you will make some. You can make some changes. Obviously, very slow, but you have to think about. You think about it this way, right? If you've never put your body through a certain amount of stress or stimulus, right? If you then all of a sudden increase that on a regular basis, your body has no choice but to adapt to it. So if you've never touched foot in the gym, then 2 times, 3 times a week to start off is a good number. As long as you make those half an hour, 45-minute sessions count over a period of time, you will see some changes, right? If you want to make that period of time shorter, then obviously you have to increase that frequency and the consistency a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a very ambiguous sort of question to just say, hey, how many times do I need to go to the gym to see changes?
Yeah.
But if you're a complete newbie, you can see very decent changes for 3 times a week. Obviously, the more you age in your training experience, the more stimulus you have to give your body to make more progress. Because your body adapts to anything that you put it through. So if you go 3 times a week for 6 months, your body gets used to that, and it goes, okay, so I can deal with this amount of stress that this guy is putting on me. So your body is now adapted to that new stimulus, and it doesn't need to change to basically, to survive, right?
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. Yeah, we change because our body wants to perform better and actually survive in the situation that you put it through.
Yeah.
So 3 times a week for 6 months, your body adapts to it, and then after those 3 or 6 months, however long, you need to increase that stimulus to then force a more a further adaptation to that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then,
is it a bit like a rolling average of your body, what it needs to be like? So if obviously the rolling average, if you do less exercise, it thinks, oh, I don't need to be as fit. Would you?
essentially, yeah, because your body basically reacts to a stimulus that you force upon it, and then it adapts to that to then be able to sustain it. So if every day you lift 10 kg, or if every day you lift 50 kg, right?
Yeah.
Bicep curl. It might be hard the very first time, might get a little bit easier the second time, the third time, and it gets easier and easier because your body goes, okay, I'm having to lift 50 kg every single day.
Yeah.
So brain sends signal to the muscle, go, right, you need to basically start growing to make this constant stimulus, this constant stress that this guy's putting on you easier. So we're not spending as much energy. So so then your body starts adapting. So then once 50 kg feels easy, you put 10 kg on. And then your body goes again, all right, now it's getting heavier.
Yeah.
Now I need to adapt again, i.e. grow more muscle to be able to lift that with more ease. And that's how basically adaptation works in the body. So as a complete beginner, to make it short, as a complete beginner, you can have any amount of, as long as you're in the gym and train, with consistency, i.e. on a regular basis, you will make progress. Yeah. And then once there comes a time where that progress stops, because everything you do now is piece of piss, frankly, you have to up it a little bit, right? Either go to the gym more often, or make your training sessions harder, or just increase that stimulus in some way or another. Yeah, more sessions, longer sessions, harder sessions, whichever way, just to put more stress onto the body to then for it then to adapt and grow.
That makes sense. And when you say make it count at the gym, if someone walks in just thinking, oh, I'm going to do a leg press, bit of biceps, bit of shoulder, do you have to have a regular plan in the gym on what equipment you're going to use and at what point, or can you just go in and do anything?
No, a plan definitely helps, because a plan will tell you, the only way you know if you're progressing is if you're following a plan and then looking, okay, what did I do last time? Whatever I did last time, I need to improve upon that. Right. So if you're just going into the gym and do a couple of reps of bicep curls, and then come in the next week, you're like, okay, how many did I do last week? No idea. How much weight was I lifting last week? No idea. So if you're not, like I said, if you're not improving on your previous session or on the previous stimulus that you gave your body, it's not going to improve. So by having a plan and following a structured program, you know, okay, last week I did 3 sets of 10 at 50 kg. So this week, right, coming around to the same day, I need to do at least either more reps or more weight, or I don't know, you can perform the reps slower, for example, to increase the time and the tension that your muscle actually, goes through. You just have to make whatever you did last time a little bit harder. Right. The only way you can do that is by actually following a program that tells you, okay, this is what you're doing today and this is what you have to do tomorrow. Because if you don't have that structure, you're just going in it and you're winging it. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
and if you're not taking your muscles to a certain point of exhaustion, then you're not putting enough stimulus on the muscle or on your body for it to go, I actually need to change, I need to improve, I need to get better. Do you know what I mean? So whatever you did last week, improve upon it on the next week. Yeah, in some way, whether that's more reps, more sets, more weight.
Yeah.
It's just something has to be more intense than it was last time. And that's what causes the adaptation. Right. So yeah, obviously having a program and having somebody to tell you, hey, look, this is what you need to follow and this is what you need to do, it helps a lot. And if you're just going into the gym and winging it, then you can be there for days, months and years and not really see any changes. So I definitely recommend it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I hear some people say, oh, I just go to the gym because I enjoy it. Yeah. I'm not trying to track it. Is that still okay? Do you have to have a goal to be successful?
Well, so if you go to the gym just because you're enjoying it, so what do you enjoy? Like, do you enjoy actually just doing the exercise, or do you enjoy seeing the results of what you're doing? Right? Because if you're enjoying actually seeing the results, i.e. an increase in fitness, an increase in size, or an increase in whatever you're training, the only way you can achieve that is by going through a progressive plan that will take you through that improvement phase. Whereas if you just go in and go, I enjoy lifting the weight. I mean, you can do that if you just if you enjoy lifting the weight and never seeing any results. That's good if it makes you happy, but I don't think it's going to get you anywhere.
No.
If that makes sense.
Okay. And in terms of your diet and fitness, how much is it 50-50? Or how much of a mix is it?
Do you
How
mean
important
diet and
are you-
training?
Yeah, so can you train with a bad diet, or can you have how much of the crossover, and how important is each?
Right. Again, it depends on your training age. So how long you've actually been training.
Okay.
So I found that, for example, when I started training, I had no idea about diet. The only thing I did is I went to the gym, I lifted weights, and I made progress. Because, again, going back to this whole stimulus on your body, my body was not used to lifting weights, so it had no choice but to use whatever energy I gave it.
Yeah.
Whether that's McDonald's or chicken rice and broccoli.
Yeah.
It just used that energy to build muscle, and that's basically the bonus of being a newbie at the gym. If you first start going to the gym, as long as you're consistent with it, you don't have to have a perfect training plan. You don't have to have a super intense training plan.
Yeah.
To make progress. You can do that as a beginner, but as you get more experienced, as your training age gets older and older, for example, I'm now probably 12, 13 years deep.
Yeah.
In order for me to make any progress, I would have to really dial in on my nutrition, because my body is used to me giving it 5-6 times a week in the gym. My body's already using its energy in the most efficient way. So the only way I can now improve upon that is to really dial it in and say, okay, I actually need to, give my body the right fuel for it to then be able to use that energy properly.
Yeah.
But all in all, on the big picture, I think diet is about 70%.
Wow, so
Yeah,
it's more than the gym.
Yeah, because essentially your diet is whatever fuel you're giving your body, right? And if you're literally not giving your body enough protein and enough calories in order for it to grow, after a while, once your body has exhausted all its available resources for energy, it's got nowhere to go. So you basically just you go to the gym and work yourself to the point of exhaustion, but your body hasn't got anything to then replenish that energy and actually build muscle with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, diet is a massive part of it, and I don't think you probably heard that before, you can't out-train a bad diet.
Yeah.
So and that's true. Yeah. So you can train as much as you want, but if your fuel source isn't right, same as in a car, if you put the wrong fuel in the car, it's not going anywhere. Or if you don't put any fuel in the car, it doesn't go.
Yeah.
And it's literally as simple as that, to put it into very simple terms. So.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think it's for any beginner looking at that, is as long as you're giving your body the appropriate number of calories, which basically your total available energy, and the right amount of protein for your size and your body weight, then that's the ideal formula to build muscle. Anything else around it, micronutrients, carbs and fats, that ratio, that's something that you can take on at a later stage, and that's something that a PT or coach can help you with.
Yeah.
But for a bare beginner who's looking to get fit in the gym, eat enough food and make sure you get your protein in, and train hard and consistent.
Okay.
That's
the basics.
The basics.
The basics in your
The very basics, yeah.
Okay.
In my opinion. I'm sure there's people who might disagree, but
yeah,
in my opinion, that works.
That's cool. And I've heard a thing about calories in, calories out. If you have more calories than you're using, you will gain weight naturally, and then the vice versa. How important is that, and how true is that?
It's very true. So first of all, like I said before, the amount of calories is the total amount of fuel you give your body. Yeah. So if you give your body too much fuel, it will then store that extra energy somewhere. Yeah. Obviously, it will use as much as it can for muscle building and for repair and for recovery.
Yeah.
And also for your immune system and your digestion and everything else. But everything that's excess in that is basically stored as fat. So that's why, if you want to go into, let's say, a bulking phase, you should, as a standard, between 20-25% of your total calorie intake as a surplus is a good number, right? So usually, or you can take it as between 200 to 300 extra calories. So let's say my maintenance is 2,500.
Yeah.
If I go for 2,700, 2,800, just a little bit of a surplus, that's enough for your body to go, okay, that's enough fuel for me to repair, recover, and build everything I need to, without having, you know, that excess energy then to then be stored as fat.
Right.
So it is very true. The more calories you eat, or if you're in a surplus, you will gain weight because your body can't get rid of the excess energy, so you'll put on weight.
Yeah.
And if you stay in a deficit, your body hasn't got enough energy to, in layman's terms, hasn't got enough energy to basically replenish the demand.
Yeah.
So it has no choice but to use your available stored energy, which is in forms of fat or whatever else is stored in your body, as that fuel. And so if you're not giving your body enough energy that it needs to maintain its weight, it will start
eating itself.
Yeah. And obviously that starts off with fat. Yeah, but if you're not giving it enough protein, then it will start, obviously, you know, you go into atrophy, which basically like a muscle breakdown.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, you have to find the right mixture. That's why, regardless of whether you're in a calorie surplus or deficit, your protein has to be bang on, because your protein is literally what goes into your muscles, to make it simple.
Yeah.
And if you're not giving it enough protein, then it will use any energy to basically feed itself before start building muscle. Because essentially, it's not your body's primary goal to build muscle.
Yeah.
Your body just wants, your body actually wants as little muscle as possible, right? Or as, let's say, as just enough muscle to whatever you're doing on a day-to-day.
Right.
Being big, massive, and having big muscles is just an excess, an excess use of energy of the body, because it just has to fuel all that muscle, and you just have to give it more energy. That's why your body wants to be in a balanced state.
Yeah.
So building muscle is not its primary target. So if you're not giving that, if you're not giving it enough energy in form of protein, it will just basically go, I tell you what, we don't need all this muscle.
Yeah.
Let's just get rid of it. Yeah.
Okay.
In one way.
That makes sense. It makes sense. Yeah. It's trying to be efficient to survive, really, isn't it? So if it has to chase predators or something, or run away.
I want to be as efficient as possible, and having big muscles, unfortunately, isn't efficient because it's just it's just extra energy that it has to use.
Right.
So you have to think about it that way. So if you want to keep that muscle mass and be able to sustain it, you have to give it enough fuel. And if you're not doing that, then it's gonna deteriorate. No, that's not the right word. It's basically gonna use energy from some other place.
Yeah.
Meaning usually your fat tissue or your muscle tissue, and that's what causes you to lose weight.
Yeah.
So that's to answer the question: is it true? Yes, it's true.
Yeah.
But is it as important? I mean, if you want to lose weight, yes, but especially when you're in a calorie deficit, you have to also watch out for the quality of food that you're consuming, because obviously consuming less calories means you're getting less minerals in and less micronutrients in your body. So if you're being in a calorie deficit only on McDonald's, then you're going to be skinny, but you're not going to be very healthy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's very true, but the importance is more about the quality of food you're eating rather than the quantity.
Okay. On that note, veganism.
Oh dear.
Right.
I was fearing that question.
Literally, I've heard a lot of people around me have mentioned, what do you think about veganism? And I'm not sure myself. I've done some research on it, but I couldn't personally do it because I like meat too much and milk.
Yeah.
What do you think how much of an impact do you think it has on your diet in the gym?
Well, it's perfectly, obviously, first of all, disclaimer, I'm not an expert on the vegan diet or on this topic, so.
Yeah.
But what I can say is it's totally possible to maintain a good physique on a vegan diet. There's plenty of vegan bodybuilders who look insane.
Yeah.
So the question is, how are you getting your protein in? Yeah. So if you're a vegan and you don't have you're not going for your conventional sources like your meats, like egg, chicken, red meat or whatever, your animal protein, let's call it that. You just have to find other sources of protein, and there's plenty of other sources, right? There's your beans, your legumes. Well, how do we say that? Anything.
I'll let you say.
Anything that's beans, grains, or anything like that. Nuts, that's obviously very high in protein. So you just have to find your protein from a different place. Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, veganism is not my thing because, like you said, I like meat too much. I like eating it. It's simple. It makes the process very straightforward.
Yeah.
But I've got got nothing against vegans. Yeah, I've got friends who are vegans, so
Yeah.
it's a choice of diet. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it can work in terms of fitness, and it does work. Yeah, there's plenty of even professional athletes who are vegan, but you just have to. Yeah, it's a lot harder to fine tune your diet if you're a vegan. Yeah, to make sure you get enough protein, and enough amino acids as well. You know, the amino acid profile from plant sources is quite different to the amino acid profile that you get from animal sources.
Right.
So some of the essential amino acids can only be found in animal sources or animal protein sources. So that's why a lot of or I would suggest if I get, for example, a client who is vegan, I would suggest that they could supplement with some form of, you know, BCAAs or EAAs.
Yeah.
To then, you know, get all to basically have a full amino acid profile rather than just the ones they get from plant food. But again, I'm not the expert on the vegan topic, so I don't want to go too into before I say something wrong. So yeah.
No, that makes sense. When you mention for someone to gain weight, they have to have, say, 20 to 25% more calories than they need. How would you recommend? Do you need to know your what is it? Your maintenance.
So your basal metabolic rate or your total daily energy expenditure, it's called. Yes, it helps if you know it, right? Because if you know how many calories you need just to sustain your weight, then it makes it very easy to just add or subtract amount of calories. For example, if you want to find out how to do that, the easiest way to do it is, so you would have to start tracking your calories. Okay, so you have to either, if you want to write down how many calories you're eating, or you can just use, you know, apps like MyFitnessPal, for example. So for example, the very basic starting point would be, see what you're eating at the moment. Continue your diet as you normally would. Write down everything you're eating. Track that somehow to understand, okay, how many calories am I currently eating? And then continue to doing that for a week and weigh yourself every single day. If you notice that your weight is going up, then you know whatever calories you're consuming at the moment is a little bit too much because you're gaining weight. So then all you can do is adjust it by maybe 100, 150 calories on the next week and repeat that process. Weigh yourself every single day, see how your weight fluctuates. If it then starts, you know, plateauing, then you know, okay, those are my calories. That's my true maintenance. Yeah.
What if the activities you do on an average day vary so much that it's hard to track that?
Obviously, the way I gauge it is, you know, if you're more active in one day than another, you typically are more hungry. So, for example, like a person like yourself, who's pretty much, I guess, maintained
a low amount of exactly.
So you're not, you know, you haven't gained weight over the last couple of years. So typically what you're eating intuitively is around about what your maintenance is.
Okay.
But so if you're spending more energy on one day, then you're probably going to eat a little bit more, which sort of balances it out. But again, if your activity is so different that where you literally run a marathon on one day or every other day and then not, then and if your weight gain or weight loss is an important factor for you, then I would definitely recommend, okay, track your calories, how much you're eating, and then also track your weight every single day. Yeah, because if you know, okay, I've ate X amount of calories, let's say 2,500 on one day, and over the next couple of days, I'm losing weight drastically, then you know, okay, what's happened here? You know, is it because obviously maybe because I ran that marathon the other day, you've expended all that energy, but you're not replenished it with food. Yeah. So you just need to. The easiest way to do that is to actually track your calories and get an understanding of how many calories are you spending out, you know, every single day, and how many are you eating. Yeah. You know, and then you just get a good picture of that fluctuation. That makes sense.
If some people are listening to this and thinking, oh, I can't be bothered tracking my calories, what would be your advice to them? Do they have to do it, or is there an easy way to think of it?
So what I said before, if you don't want to track your calories, but your goal is to either gain or lose weight or just maintain it, do what I did before. What I said before. Let's say, for example, just keep eating what you're eating. Yeah. If you don't have to track it, but track your weight. So step on a scale every morning at the same time. Yeah. Ideally after waking up and after having your number one or number two in the morning. So step on a scale every single day. If you're losing weight, then you know whatever I'm eating at the moment. Is not enough because I'm losing weight. So without tracking, you can just eat. Let's say you have your evening meal with a bunch of potatoes or whatever, just eat a little bit more of that. or have like an extra banana or an extra piece of fruit or an extra piece of chicken in that day.
Yeah.
You know, just whatever you're eating at the minute. You don't have to know exactly what you're eating, but just whatever you're eating at the minute, eat a little bit more if you're losing weight.
Yeah.
Or again, the opposite way, if you're gaining weight, just eat a little bit less.
Yeah.
So you don't have to know the exact number, just, you know, gauge the amount.
Yeah.
I mean, but then again, you know, it's, if you want to get the most efficient result without having to do all the guesswork, just track your calories. You know,
Yeah.
it might be a ball ache for the first couple of months, but after a while, like for me, you know, the first year I started tracking calories, yes, it was a bit of a chore, but it actually taught me a lot, because now I know, okay, how much is in this, like if in this amount of rice or in this amount of chicken, I can just look at it and go, oh, that's about maybe 200-300 calories here, or in X amount of chicken, I just go, oh, that's a certain amount of calories here. So it helped me to gauge, you know, just general food amounts. And now I'm at a point, obviously I've been tracking for years, but now I'm at a point where I don't need to track. Like, in fact, I haven't been tracking for the last 2 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I'm still getting results, because I know exactly what the kind of things I'm eating, and I can gauge the amount of food that I'm eating, and I know exactly, or I know roughly how many calories and how much protein is in that food, just by having done this tracking a lot. And every time I input a certain amount of food, I know I get the numbers. Yeah, so by seeing that a lot of times, it just helped me now just be a little bit more intuitive about it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. In terms of maintaining motivation, if someone, quite often it's New Year's now, isn't it? First couple of weeks, people join the gym, they go a little bit, then early February or even halfway through January, they sort of give up and think, it's not for me. What would your advice be to them?
It depends what your why you wanted to start in the first place.
If it's a new year, new me, I want to change myself, motivation.
Why did you wait till the new year? Do you know what I mean? Like, that's always the question. Like, why do you have to wait till the new year to make that change? If it's really something that you want, if you're going, fucking hell, like, I'm so unhappy with the way I am right now. Why did you wait till the new year? Like, it doesn't take the new year for you to make a change. Like, the year change is just a number. Nothing will change unless you do, right? So that's my first question. Why did you wait till the new year? The other part about maintaining motivation is you can't maintain motivation. It always comes and goes. Yeah, motivation is something, if you look at a YouTube video of some super motivational guy, you probably have that motivation and that drive for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But then you wake up the next day, shit, I have to go to work again. This happened, that happened, motivation lost. So the point is not staying motivated. You can't stay motivated. You just have to stay disciplined. You just have to go, whether it's a good day, a bad day, whether you feel great or not, you just have to stick with it. Go through those rough patches because it will get better.
Yeah.
So when you're starting your journey in January, just give it some time. Yeah, it's gonna be a shit period of 2 or 3 months maybe, or even less. You know, depending how well you get on.
Yeah.
But it might be a couple of months where you probably don't see the results that you wanted to, because it doesn't happen fast enough. The downs of winter, you know, get you, and you're like, well, can't be asked going outside.
Yeah.
But you just have to keep at it. Goes back to the first thing about consistency.
Yeah.
The only way you're actually going to get results is just staying consistent, whether or not you're motivated or not. I mean, I'm not always motivated. Sometimes I've got a bad day at work, or I've got a long day or a hard day. Last thing I want to do is go to the gym.
Yeah.
But I still do it. Like, there's literally been times where I was like, I can't. Like, I've not eaten. I feel like shit. I can't be bothered. All I want to do is just sit at home. But I just think it's not gonna get me anywhere, is it?
What would you tell yourself to convince yourself to go in that moment?
Because I know how I feel when I get out. Going in, I feel like shit. Going out, I always feel great regardless. You know what I mean? And that's something that I guess comes with experience.
Yeah.
But you will find out that doesn't matter what you do in the gym, don't have to go kill yourself in the gym.
Yeah.
You just have to go in there and do something, do some activity. Because physical activity has so much effect on your mental state.
Yeah.
The simple fact of you exerting energy and getting into that state of elevating your heart rate, sweating, going through a bit of a shit time, basically, mentally and physically.
Yeah.
once you've overcome that, your body naturally starts to produce endorphins and dopamine, and that's what then makes you feel better, because you've just gone through a really hard a hard period of time, right? You just literally did something difficult, and then once that's over, your body goes, oh, this is amazing, right? Whatever I felt before is it's not that bad now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's how I get myself through it. I know that even though I might go into the gym or to the end of the day going, I really don't want to do this, I'm tired, I'm knackered, I know that once I come out, I'm like, okay, the world's back to normal. I feel great, got a little pump going. Yeah, I know that I've achieved something, and it's that sense of, a little bit, that sense of achievement I get, because you know you did something that's good for you, and you did something that was hard. Yeah, you overcame that mental block. You just go, just sit on the couch, relax, take it easy. You have to overcome that, because if you always do what your brain tells you to do, your brain is lazy. Your brain doesn't want the best thing for you. Your brain wants to be like your body, chilled out, in a relaxed state, doesn't want to do a lot of work. But you have to tell it no sometimes. You just have to tell it, I'm not gonna not do those things, those hard things, those difficult things.
Yeah.
Because if I don't do them, I'm not gonna get better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's always a little bit of a mental battle. You always have to tell your brain, I know.
Yeah.
Shut up for a second. I'm just gonna do this because I know I will feel much better.
Yeah.
Afterwards than I feel now. So.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
In terms of mental health and fitness, it's the word's been obviously pushed around a lot. Anxiety, depression. Is there an actual how much of a link is there between keeping fit or going to the gym and that?
A massive link. So what I said before is, the whole concept behind mental health and fitness is what I said before. If you put your body through a difficult and strenuous phase, something that it doesn't like, afterwards, once that's over, your body releases all those, endorphins, dopamine, all these good hormones, that make you feel better.
Right.
So it's just a natural process. Once you go through a hard time, once that hard time is over, your body kind of rewards itself, because it's thinking, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
Because everything now seems better, right? Because if you've just gone through a really shit period of time, whether that's mentally or, even if you go through a really bad mental state, once that's over, and once you go, let's say, for example, you're in a rut, you've done, you're in that work rut, months and months, wake up, go to work, come back, sleep, wake up, and then you've got a holiday coming up. Ooh, exciting, right? That holiday feels great, and you're in that holiday period. It feels amazing because you've just gone through what seemed a bad period of time, and now there's a good time coming up. So it's your brain sort of rewards itself,
right,
with those, with those good positive hormones. And that's exactly the same that happens when you go to the gym and you train and you put yourself through a really hard time, maybe a painful time, because it does, it's not nice, is it? Right?
No, yeah.
After that's over, your nervous system basically flushes itself out, and that's why you feel better at the end of a workout, because you know you've achieved something. You feel that sense of fulfillment and achievement, and that's what helps your mental state on a short, for a short period of time.
Yeah. How long?
Well, I don't know. As long as you pump lasts, I guess. I'm not too sure. It depends on the individual, but you always feel better. I always feel better coming out of the gym. Yeah.
Yeah. And
of course, the more you do that, the more you have that feeling. Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I think obviously I'm not an expert on anxiety and depression, but I know that it can definitely change your mindset, because if you're putting yourself through that hard time, your brain hasn't got time to think about the bad stuff. It only thinks about what's happening right now. If you're going through a grueling workout, you literally haven't got time to think about anything else that's happening. Yeah. You're in that state of mind. You're in the moment. You're just thinking about this. You're just thinking about, right, I need to get through this. I need to get through this set, or I need to get through this 10K that I'm currently running.
Yeah.
So your brain just switches off all those bad thoughts, which obviously helps it, because anxiety and depression is basically your brain just thinking bad things. It always focuses on the negative things in life. So if you switch that part off by just distracting it, then I guess that can help.
In a similar way to meditation, maybe.
Yeah. So meditation is essentially you're just being very present, and just basically shutting everything off and focusing on what's happening inside your body, your breath, breathing in and out. That's why breathing is so important in meditation, because you're basically just focusing on air coming into the lungs, air going out of the lungs, and being very in the moment. So everything else doesn't matter. So I guess there's a link between those two, but again, I'm not the expert on that field.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay.
But yeah, for me, short-term solution, obviously, go to the gym, get a workout and get a sweat going. You'll definitely feel better.
Yeah.
There you go. Easy as that.
In terms of fitting it into your lifestyle, because I've heard someone say the gym is more of a, not really a mindset, but like part of your everyday life, isn't it? It's not like, oh yeah, I have a goal to get this weight and then you stop it, because then once the goal's achieved, what next? So would you say it's more important for someone to be able to integrate the gym into their daily lives? Then the second question is morning or evening?
Okay. So I'll answer the second question first.
Okay, right.
Doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter what time of the day you work out. It's down to the individual and when they perform best. So me, for example, I'm not a morning person, right? Hate getting up early. It takes me a while to get ready. It takes me a while to get into the swing of things. So I prefer to train in the evenings. Other people might be the complete opposite. They've got loads of energy going up in the morning, right? As soon as they wake up, they're like, yes, let's go, let's do this. And they have all this energy coming up in the morning. If you're that person, train in the mornings. If you're the other person, train in the evenings. The second thing is, for me, it depends on what style of training are you doing. So I like to lift. I do, like I said, do a lot of strength training. So I like to lift really heavy in the evenings. And I find that if I train in the evenings, I've had all day to basically fuel up, right? Get some food in me.
Yeah.
Get carved up, right? Be full of energy, so that when I hit the gym in the evening, I'm ready to go. But that's just me. Other people perform really well on an empty stomach.
Yeah.
So there's no rule of saying your body across the board performs better at a certain time of the day. There's got so many factors. It depends what you've ate the night before.
Yeah.
If you had a good sleep, if you had a bad sleep, it depends on your personality. Are you that morning person? Are you the evening person? So it doesn't matter when you train.
Yeah.
As long as you should train whenever it fits your schedule. Yeah. You should never force yourself to train at a certain amount of time, at a certain time of the day, if that doesn't, if you're not being able to fully commit. If you're under time pressure or whatever, find a better time to train. And the second thing is, how do you feel? Do you feel better in the afternoon? Do you feel better in the morning? Do you feel better in the evening? Just go whenever you feel like it.
Yeah.
Whenever you're able to perform at your best. But there's no rule that says you have to train in the morning or you have to train in the evening.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist. Somebody tells you, they're lying.
When people start to go to the gym, so they've not been before, they have a goal in mind, I want to lose weight or be muscular. Is that a good idea, or is it better to think of the gym as, I'm going to be a gym person, and identify yourself as someone who goes to the gym?
So whether it is the end goal or the process, that's the important part. Okay. I personally think it's more about the process, right? If you enjoy the act of doing something, then you can sustain that for a longer period of time, because simply by doing it, you find enjoyment in that. Yeah. Whereas I think it's don't get me wrong, it's really important to have a goal in mind, because if you don't have a goal, you're just wandering about aimlessly. So it's good to have a goal in mind, but it shouldn't be the prime driver, so to say. Yeah. So if you have a goal in mind and you enjoy the process of achieving that goal, then that's the ideal combination. So for example, I'll give you an example. A friend of mine, they wanted to enter a bodybuilding competition, or physique competition, whatever.
Yeah.
And that's obviously all about the end goal. Yeah. So it's about you've got a date in mind. That's when the show happens. From here to now, or from now to there, this is what needs to be achieved, and you need to be at that stage at that point in time. So that's the end goal. They got a coach, went through the whole process. Almost, I think they went through with it, but the whole process of going, achieving that goal was so grueling, because obviously if you're looking at a bodybuilding competition, they're all ripped, you're always looking at single digit body fat numbers, and to achieve that, your diet has to be insane. It's just a lot of hard work, sacrifice, discipline, and it was just so intense that they kind of they fell out of love of actually going to the gym.
Wow.
Why they wanted to do it in the first place, you know. Same with me. Like I have played with the thought of you know, maybe competing at some point, but then I thought the only reason I sustained it for such a long period of time is because I kind of did what I wanted across these years. Yeah. So I had my own goals. Yeah. So my physique goals, my strength goals, or whatever, but they were mine. So I picked them, and I chose how long it would take for me to get there.
Right.
So if at any point I didn't enjoy what I was doing, I'd switch it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I don't enjoy the training, the current split, for example, that I do, I just switch it up. I just do something else.
Yeah.
So I think that's an example of where the end goal, if you just have an end goal in mind and you want to get there by any means necessary, but you don't necessarily enjoy the process of it, you're not going to get there, because if the process turns out to be shit, or the process turns out to be horrible, fair enough, you might have achieved it, but how did you feel about it? You know, it depends where your attention lies. If you just want to achieve that goal and forget about it, then happy days, go through the horrible parts. As long as you made it, you're there, and then you can forget about it. But in terms of fitness, I think there's no point in just going, let's say I want to achieve this level of fitness, and then completely forget about fitness in completely.
Yeah.
Because what's the point in that? Do you know what I mean? Why would you want to put yourself through that period of time to then achieve a great physique to then never do it again?
Yeah.
I mean, if you just want to do it to show that you can do it, fair enough. But if you want long, you know, sustainable results, you definitely you should pick a training style or a training modality that fits your schedule, fits your likes, fits your motivations. You know, so a lot of people might not enjoy the gym, lifting weights. Cool, do, you know, running or martial arts or football or, you know, anything else, CrossFit.
Yeah.
Just find something that you enjoy and that you can sustain for a long period of time.
Yeah.
And find something that you want to do, even though, or find something that you can do and that you want to do, even though you have zero motivation to do it.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So
for me, that's training in the gym. For other people, it might be, you know, they hate weightlifting. They don't enjoy it. They find it boring.
Yeah.
So just find something that's, you know, that tickles your fancy, really.
Yeah.
And only that way you can sustain it.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So I think for me, it's about longevity, about fitness, really. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we only have one body. We only have one brain. If you destroy them, then you're not going to have a lot of fun. So so you have to find something that you can just keep going for the rest of your life if you wanted to.
Yeah.
You know, that's my that's the way I think about it.
Okay, makes sense. And when it comes to body types, like you've got endomorph, you've got ectomorph, mesomorph.
Right. How
much of an impact do you have to navigate your gym and diet around that? Do you have to do things differently or what?
So I've read different things about this body type thing. Apparently it's not true that you have to train in a certain way for certain body types.
Right. So
apparently this was so I think this guy was like at some point in the 50s, some physician or some doctor came up with these three body types, endomorph, ectomorph, and mesomorph, and decided that, you know, if you're this body type, you should do this. If you're that body type, you should do that. And basically they've just, you know, the fitness industry just kept that theory there. But apparently now it's turned out that it's not actually true, that you have to train a certain way for a certain amount of, if you're a certain body type.
Yeah.
It's true that if you're a certain body type, you look different. Yeah. Obviously, I think again, I think ectomorph is the long and skinny one, but don't quote me on that. But yeah, you look different, and I think your body reacts different to certain stimuli, right? So for example, if you're short and stocky, you're probably better off lifting heavy weight. That's true, simply because of your biomechanics.
Right.
And if you're long and skinny, then obviously you know, certain movements, for example, like a squat or a deadlift, might be problematic if you have different, you know, because your femur is different lengths and your overall structure. Yeah. So I think, you know, I think there's some truth to it, but it shouldn't be it shouldn't be gospel where you go, oh, I can't train heavy. I shouldn't train heavy because I'm an endomorph or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's literally, if it works for you, do it. If it doesn't, then don't do it. But I don't think it should be as black as white as I can only do this if I'm that body type, or I can only do that if I'm that body type. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's a little bit of a grey area, but from what I've heard and from what I've read, the sort of black and white classification of these three body types and the training that you should do if you're one of those, it's not 100% true.
Yeah. Okay. There's a lot of that in every industry, isn't there, I suppose?
Yeah, so because especially in fitness, there is principles and there is methods. Yeah, the principles have been there. The principle of calorie deficit or calorie surplus, or the principle of progressive overload, i.e. lifting heavier and heavier every time, those stand true for years and years and years. Yeah, if you put yourself, or if you put your body through more and more stress and more and more, let's say, stimulus as you go along in your training, you will make progress. Whereas the methods, i.e., are you achieving that progress through, doing squats, deadlifts, and bench press, or are you achieving that progress through doing, jumping jacks, skip ropes, or whatever?
Yeah.
That doesn't matter. The methods are different, but the principles remain the same. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. So it's like that in every industry. There's facts, there's the principles, but how you get to those, everybody has a different method about it.
That makes sense. Okay.
I don't know if I explained that right. But...
Yeah. No. Yeah, definitely. When it comes to yourself and your approach to personal training with your clients, you're obviously doing very well.
Right.
What's your approach that you take?
So, what do you mean in terms of the approach? Like,
do you have your own way of telling your clients, oh, do this, do that, or do you just follow? What do you follow? Do you do it by, oh, that doesn't look quite right, and you tell them there and then, or what do you use?
Yeah. So obviously my I would say my focus, or my speciality, if you want to call it that, is basic hypertrophy training. Yeah. So training to improve muscle and training to improve strength. Yeah. And for me, the one thing that I'm very religious about is keeping your form and your technique right, because only that way you're gonna perform the exercise in the right way. If you're looking to build muscle, by doing the exercise in the correct form and with the right technique, you're gonna place most stress on the muscle that you're trying to work, and therefore it's more efficient for you to build that muscle. And so for me, form technique is very important. So that's probably one of the main things that I want to teach my clients, how to perform the exercise in the best way possible, or in the most efficient way possible, for them to get the best results. Yeah. So I'd rather you lift fewer amounts of weight, less weight with proper form, than just to rack the bar up to push the weight up as by any means necessary. And even if I train for strength, because for example, if you look at bodybuilding style training and pure powerlifting strength training, they're vastly different. Yeah. So powerlifting.
Yeah.
So powerlifting is all about getting the weight from A to B as fast as possible. Yeah. As much weight as possible. Whereas bodybuilding is making the exercise as hard as possible for you to put most stimulus on the muscle to then make it grow.
Right.
So powerlifters, it's all about technique and power, and not necessarily about form. Like sometimes you see a powerlifter have a massive arch in their back when they're bench pressing.
Yeah.
Or the way they squat, they use a lot of momentum when they go up and down. It's basically about getting that weight up rather than stressing the muscle for a bit to make it grow.
Right.
Yeah. So there's vastly different training modalities here, but my one is more towards the bodybuilding side, where I want to make sure that clients would come to me if they want to build muscle. Yeah. And that's basically it. If they want to get stronger, want to build muscle. That's it. I'm not an expert in CrossFit or marathon running or anything like that. So my thing is, if you want to have an aesthetic physique that performs well, that's my shit.
Okay. And how much does posture come into it? Because you mentioned powerlifters can have bad posture.
Not posture. Basically, what I meant by that is, for example, in a bench press, a powerlifter would have a massive arch in their back.
Yeah.
Doing, basically leaning forward on the bench.
Oh yeah.
to then shorten the range of motion, right? The more arch you have in your back, the shorter the range of motion is that you have to lower the bar.
Right.
Yeah. So that's in my opinion, that's basically what it's about. Yeah. You want to basically get the bar to your chest and up as fast as possible.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that you have fully exhausted that, muscle to the point where it's able to grow. Of course, a gain in strength does come with a gain in size, and vice versa, right? A bigger muscle can move more weight.
Yeah.
But it's the training technique is completely different. So as a bodybuilder, you want to make the exercise as difficult as possible and just use the one muscle that is designed to move that weight. So if you're on if you're doing a bicep curl, you want to maintain perfect form and ideally keep everything rigid except your bicep, except your forearm.
To isolate it.
To isolate it, exactly. Whereas if you're just trying to yank the weight up, then you're obviously going to use your momentum here. You're going to use a little bit of shoulder, your traps to lift it up, and you're using all kinds of different muscles.
Right.
So that's the same with powerlifting and with bodybuilding. Right? With a powerlifter, they use basically their whole body to lift the weight, which isn't wrong.
Yeah.
It's just a different goal. Powerlifters want to lift weight. Bodybuilders want to be as big as possible.
Yeah.
So for me, posture, form, technique is really important if you want to perform. If you want to, perform the exercise well, get the best results as possible in terms of muscle growth, and also stay injury free. Right? If you're using the right technique, you're less chance of getting injured. Basically, in my opinion.
Okay. So in terms of reps and sets, how much should someone obviously plan that into their workout?
Right. Okay. So again, it depends on the goal. If you're training for strength, you're aiming for on the lower end of the rep range, so between 3 and 5. If you're training for hypertrophy, it's said to training at a high rep range is better. But essentially, it comes down to time under tension. So if you want to grow muscle, you have to put a certain amount of tension on the muscle, which is why the higher rep range would come into play with hypertrophy, because you're essentially exerting more exerting more tension on the muscle for a longer period of time by doing more reps. But you can achieve the same thing by just slowing down the movement, for example.
Right.
So there is a grey area, right, between obviously there's 3 different main blocks, which is the strength, 3 to 5 sets. Hypertrophy, I think, is between 8 and 12 reps, so 3 to 5 reps. Hypertrophy, 8 and 12 reps, and then endurance, 20 reps and upwards, 25 reps. But there's obviously grey areas between all of them. If you're doing 5 reps really, really slow, you're placing the same amount of tension for the same amount of time on that muscle as if you were doing 12 reps moderately slow. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you're lifting a weight, and it takes you 5 seconds to lower it, and then 3 seconds to bring it back up, that's 8 seconds in total.
Yeah.
You might achieve that by doing 2 seconds down, 1 second up, 2 seconds down, 1 second up. So it's you can achieve the same amount of tension with different
ways of doing it.
So again, but it depends on what your goal is.
Yeah. So talk to me about your 12-week transformation program.
All right. Okay. So the coming out starting next week.
Nice.
So it's basically so this is a program I wrote, which essentially is ideal for beginners, because it focuses on both strength and hypertrophy. Okay, so my big thing is for me, squat, bench press, and deadlift is a very essential part. I believe personally, it's a very essential part of being structurally stronger. Okay, because compound lifts are very good for building strength and building mass. So I've basically in this workout I've combined it's a training program that combines strength principles and hypertrophy principles based around the 3 big lifts. So the exercises you'll have is you'll focus on strength training for your deadlift, your squat, and your bench press, and you will focus on hypertrophy training for all your isolation exercises. So ideally for a beginner is because it will combine both aspects of these training modalities. And it's a 12-week program. So you obviously it starts off with a 3-day split, and then a 4-day split, and then it ends up with a 5-day split. First period is more about strength, focus on strength. So you really focus on these 3 lifts, perfecting technique, and making sure that you're developing your really using the strength that you already have to lift those weights, to perform those lifts. The second phase is focusing more on the functional aspect. So you'll do it's got a lot of functional exercises in there, like prowler push, battle ropes, and tire flips, for example, which basically will increase your work capacity, and you'll teach your body to sustain more volume in training. And then the last period is more bodybuilding centric, which is more about focusing on building muscle. So in those 12 weeks, you get a good taste of all 3 training modalities. And I said it's good for a beginner because it will kind of give you a feeling of where you want to then go with that. If you enjoy the strength aspect, you can stick with that. If you want to enjoy the functional aspect, you can stick with that, or the hypertrophy aspect, you can stick with that.
Right.
But over the 12 weeks, it's the whole aim of the program is basically for you to become stronger and develop a better physique that performs well.
Yeah.
Through all these different training styles.
Final thing I want to ask is supplements.
Okay.
Worth buying or not? Can you achieve the same thing with just food?
Yeah, in my opinion, you can. Right, you can definitely. I mean, supplements help. That's what they call supplements. Yeah, they supplement your normal diet. You can definitely achieve the same results by just eating clean food, but it obviously makes it in my opinion, a lot more difficult. Yeah. So if you're struggling to get your protein in, obviously protein powder helps.
Yeah.
I would say, in terms of essential supplements and non-essential, technically no supplement is essential. Right? Everything you get in supplements you can get through real food.
Yeah.
But it makes the journey a lot easier if you've got ready available whey protein or ready available creatine that you can supplement with. But yeah, of course you can achieve the same result with by just eating a clean diet and knowing exactly what's in your foods that you're consuming.
Super, brilliant. Well, that's it, Pirmin. Thanks for coming on.
Amazing, thank you. It was a good time.
Brilliant. See you later.
Nice, cheers.